are haram. And his whole livelihood, sustenance, come from sources that are haram. And they expect Allah to respond. Still, with all of this going on, they expect Allah to respond on their watch. And then there are people who, yeah, it's true, they pray to Allah, they fast the month of Ramadan, they pronounce ash-shahadatayn, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. But what do they do in their social capacity? People have responsibilities in life. We have people making economic decisions, people making political decisions, people making all types of social decisions. And when they make these decisions, factoring in other deities and other authorities. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ عِبَادٌ أَمْثَالُكُمْ. Those who you are calling upon besides Allah are just subjects of Allah, just like you. Why do you go to them for military assistance, for economic assistance, for educational programs, for future 5-year plans, for strategies in different compartments of life? Why do you go to them? And you go to them as inferiors. You're not going to them as equals, because you need their help. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ عِبَادٌ أَمْثَالُكُمْ. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. ادعوه سبحانه وأنتم على يقين بالإجابة، وتوبوا إلى الله إن الله تواب رحيم. الحمد لله بجميع المحامد على جميع النعم، وإن تعدوا نعمة الله لا تحصوها. وصلى الله وسلم على المبعوث خيرا ورحمة وهدى لكافة الأمم، محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Dear brothers and dear sisters, almost all of you know that the khutbahs that we try to express at this time every week, we try to make as relevant as possible. Our presence in this world is not hypothetical. We're not dreaming. This is not a dream. This is the real world. And Allah Ta'alat hikmatuh, Allah intends His teachings and His instructions to us to be on par with the life that we are living. No one has an excuse to separate the two from each other. And with this month of Ramadan and the meanings of the month of Ramadan settling into our minds and our spirits, we cannot help but reflect on some of what is happening in our larger existence. We are just a number of committed Muslims here on Fridays every week in the street for reasons now that should be known to those who are far and those who are near. And it's probably because we are nonsensical in expressing the meanings of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala and his prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Maybe because of that, or maybe certainly because of that, we find ourselves where we are for all of these years. So what's happening in the real world while we are fasting? Let's take a quick look at some of the developments that are observable in this month of Ramadan from different parts of our Islamic sphere. There is a young person who has joined this imperialist, Zionist, Saudi trap called ISIS. A young person living in northern Iraq just a few days ago slaughtered his parents. He beheaded his father and his mother. Remember, we're speaking in the month of Ramadan. We speak with transparent conscience. And we speak as much as we can, truth to power. In this month of Ramadan, why did he do that? He said he wanted his brother to join him in this ISIS trap. ISIS is a trap. And unfortunately, because these masajid all around the world, beginning with this one here in Washington, D.C., these masajid have tranquilized the conscience of Muslims. They've sedated the minds of Muslims. So they spring on us a trap called ISIS or Daesh. And so we have these types of occurrences. This is not the first time, and it's not going to be the last time. He says, I wanted my brother to join me in this ISIS. My parents refused. They say, no, we don't want your brother to do that. His response, he went and he got a knife and he beheaded his own parents. This is the result of the collaboration of al-mushrikeen and the munafiqeen. In Gaza, in occupied Palestine, Afghani dress is becoming popular. The Taliban dress, the way they are dressed, people, individuals, young people in Gaza are beginning to dress just like that. And it is said that there's about 7,000 of them who are either dressing like that or contemplating dressing like that. This is what happens when they close our minds. There's 140,000 individuals in Gaza of labor age. People who can work. Men who don't have a job. Where do you think they're going to go? What do you think they're going to do when they are presented with the option of becoming Daeshis? Just yesterday, or the day before, a father in Jordan, this is in the month of Ramadan, remember, when we're supposed to care for ourselves, if we are observing our divine meanings of fasting. In the month of Ramadan, a father takes 3 of his children, not adults yet. He takes them to a bridge outside or near Amman, Jordan. He douses them with kerosene, with petroleum. And then he threatens, and he does it to himself, and he threatens to light all of them up, including himself. Are we observing the meanings of Ramadan when these types of things are happening? What has come to our attention among the other things, and there are many and plenty of these incidents and instances. France has a museum. And in that museum, look, France is supposed to be the land of egalitarianism and freedom and equality and liberty and all of these fancy words. In one of their museums, they have the skulls of the Muslims who fought against them in North Africa during the 19th century. The heads, the bones, the bony head structure are in these museums. And finally, we have one government in North Africa says, we want this back. This doesn't belong to you. They were killed here in Algeria. We want them back. That's not to speak about other North Africans who are in that museum. 36 of these skulls are there to remind us of what? And then finally, one of the consultants to the monarchy in the doomed kingdom of Saudi Arabia, that consultant to the king says, we are preparing for a discussion and a dialogue and to reach some type of understanding as we present the truth to reasonable Shi'is. In other words, that kingdom now is thinking about opening up a dialogue with what they call Ash-Shi'a al-Uqala, reasonable, fair-minded Shi'is. In Saudi Arabia, Al-Ahsa and Al-Qatif, and also from Iraq. And they said from any other place Shi'is want to come and join this type of discussion. And the Saudis saying we are doing this to express the truth to the Shi'is. لِنُرِيَهُمْ الْحَقِّ. Or in another expression of theirs, لِيَرَوْا الْحَقِّ. They don't have to go that far. Here we are here in Washington, D.C. Of course, we defied their definitions. They can't categorize us. Are we Sunnis? Are we Shi'is? We say to them with a humble and with a conscious belonging to Allah Jalla wa Ala. Well, if you want to open a dialogue, charity begins at home. Why can't you open it in the backyard of your masters? You're coming here to Washington, D.C., one of them, the son of the king, the defense minister's in town, making his rounds from the Pentagon from the State Department to the Pentagon to other departments, and finally today said he's going to go to the White House after playing Tootsie-Tatsy. Yes, no, off, on, etc. And these past, finally he made it to the White House. This is their awliya. And we are in the month of Ramadan. And you be the judge. Who are these people? What is their nature? What is their reality? Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqan warzuqna ittiba'ah.